All right, welcome to the last lesson of the e-course. It is FitMum routine. So tonight we're going to go over what a FitMum routine is.
And isn't.
Most importantly, what isn't. Yeah.
Clarifying that.
Yep. So let's start with the first one.
Okay, cool. So the first one of FitMum routine isn't exercising every day, but instead being more active with our kids on a daily or even weekly basis. Spending some time in the gym, something that is tangible and consistent and manageable 2 to 3 times a week. Focusing on building muscle, because that is essentially what will change your body shape and get you in the health and the energy levels that you need.
Yeah, so most mums, I would assume, struggle to get to the gym and are probably doing well if they can devote 1 or 2 hours a week. So if you are looking on an efficiency perspective, you need to make that time give it the biggest bang for buck, as productive as possible, and building muscle most certainly
going
will do
in
that.
there with a focus and with a plan, a structured plan.
And remember, if you remember back to the exercise lesson, in that lesson we talked about why building muscle is the most efficient way to change your body shape in the gym. Cool.
Sure. So number 2 isn't spending hours of food prep on a Sunday.
I love this one.
Yeah, because most mums think that that's what they have to do. They have to devote, and that's what you do see on social media, that you have to devote hours on a Sunday. Has to be done on a Sunday too, for some reason. It's actually being more efficient with the time spent in the kitchen. So mums, we're in the kitchen anyway, so cooking dinner or whatever, let's make that time more efficient. You know, for example, cooking up for more than one meal. When you're in the kitchen, you may as well be, doing the lunches for the next 3 to 4 days, or
doubling the recipe
so you have leftovers, those sorts of things. Even putting on, you could be putting on a frittata or something that is breakfast for the next 4 days.
So I think that's one of the biggest overlooked ones, and again, having extra food is a bonus. So the more time, the more efficient you can make that time you spend in the kitchen, the less of a waste.
Exactly. And if you do make it more efficient in the kitchen at that time that you are in it, then the next night you will have more time to spend with your kids. Yeah. So getting out there and jumping on the trampoline before bath time, because you've only had to reheat what you cooked the night before.
And the number one rule about nutrition is you'll eat whatever available. So
this one too.
This is another one of the most overlooked parts of good nutrition is we want to get straight to the calories and macros, yet we don't know or have an efficient way of getting food on the plate. So nailing this is really important. Yeah,
exactly. Because if you do that cook up for more than one and you've got stuff readily available right there in your face, you won't go hungry and you won't snack on the wrong shit.
You won't get to Thursday night and not feel like cooking and go and get takeaway.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So the next one is not eating 6 times a day, like not feeling pressured and thinking that that's what you have to do, is that you must eat 6 times a day to get results that you want. Instead, looking and becoming aware of what you're currently doing, becoming aware of your current habits, and just improving one thing at a time. So improving by making one small change that will create a better habit to get to your FitMum goals.
So success is never linear. It's all over the shop. You're going to have weeks where you've got a social event on a Sunday. So if you lock yourself down to food prepping on a Sunday, you're going to miss it from time to time. And you're going to have weeks where the baby's kept you up. Bub's sick, so you're not going to be able to get in the kitchen because you're stuck, tending to their needs. So that's where you've got to really be okay with not being perfect and striving for progress, and we'll touch on that later.
So looking at what you're currently doing, becoming aware of what you're currently doing, and then what small change can you make to that routine that you're currently doing to benefit you and also benefit your family. Which brings me to the next one is fit mums don't follow restrictive diets. Restrictive diets, what did I say today? They take the fun out of your life. And that's a massive one for me. It's a massive point, okay? Restrictive diets or following any diets to the letter will take the fun out of your life.
Yeah.
And also take you away from your family. So instead, fit mums are leaders. We lead our families down a healthy path that is tailored to your life and fits into your life. The eating plan you don't fit your life in around a eating plan or a diet as such. Instead, you tailor this and you learn how to fit it into your life.
This is really important, mamas, because not one meal plan will ever suit every single situation you find yourself in.
Yep, and every single person and every single household and every single family has a different routine. So how can you implement that into your life?
Yeah, and getting out of that following mindset, looking externally to look at somebody else's ideals and follow theirs.
Like the food prep on Sunday ideal.
Yeah.
Like that may not suit, it doesn't suit us. We don't want to be food prepping on a Sunday. No. We've tried it, didn't like it, so we changed it to suit us.
Yeah.
Even Friday nights we tried to do Friday afternoon prep, and that's shit because what if you've got a Friday night plan or you don't feel like it on a Friday, so you're not going to get it done. So we again readjusted that because it didn't suit us and it didn't suit our family and it didn't make us stick.
Yeah, we get bored of what we eat, so we change the menu up, and that's the thing is you need to be educated and have the ability and the confidence to make these decisions as well.
So then when you are educated and you have got the confidence and the ability to do this, then you become the leader of the family and you lead that path and you lead those habits for your children. So then when they grow up and they have families of their own, they won't ever have to suffer the way that you have possibly suffered. They will have these habits in place and this will just be their normal. And that's what you want to make as well. You want to make this your new normal. And that's fun and enjoyable, not a chore. So the next point is fit mum routine isn't just healthy eating as you go.
I love this one.
So this is a really great one. I see it a lot, and I see a lot of mums think that they've got it going on because they can cook up a breakfast, or they can go home and they can make a lunch,
or eat out and make healthy choices.
Eat out and make this is a healthy choice. That's okay sporadically, but consistently you should be trying to be as planned and prepared as possible. So then that way you can look at what you're actually doing, you can measure what you're currently doing, and then improve.
This is where
help comes in.
Fit mums really struggle in the first couple of programs is finding this balance between being rigid but not being strict. So, for example, if you have the routine and you have the food available to eat lots of variety, but eat similar things at similar times of day, you're going to be able to measure and improve it, and then data recording becomes so much easier. But if you're just thinking
flying off the seat of
your pants and thinking of what you're going to eat at that moment, it opens up a lot more margin for error. So if you're eating 3 times a day, 7 days a week, that's 21 choices you've got to make in a week. And odds are you're going to, mess up half of them. Right?
Because, and especially in a mum life situation, is that this is where we can be planned and prepared as much as we can, because other things are never consistent. Being a mum is not consistent. Your kids may get hurt and you have to rush off from work and pick them up from school.
Kylie's a great example. Remember that photo shoot, and then she came home and her kid cut their wrist.
Yeah,
and they had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she just grabbed some meals out.
Yeah, and she is a great example because she has 4 children of her own, and then she has learnt through doing this program to be planned and prepared. And if she hadn't have been, she's admitted that she would have made the wrong choices, or she would have gone hungry, and it all would have fallen apart. Yeah. Whereas if you can learn to be a bit prepared and a bit planned, and you get better and better as you go along, as you practice this, then when those sort of situations happen, you have the good choices available. Boom, grab it. Like, we've been up at the hospital before where we thought Logan was, she swallowed something, and it was lucky that we bring our food, and that's what you learn to do.
Yeah.
And then
you just brought up a good point there. Is if you are not prepared at all now, just being prepared for one meal a day is gonna give you a particular result. You're going to get a result from that. You're going to feel better. You're going to look better. You're going to function better.
Yeah.
And then
the next
if you're prepared for 2 meals in 6 weeks' time, if you take 6 weeks to just get prepared for 2 meals, you will have built and doubled that result because you've gone from 1 to 2.
And it doesn't feel overwhelming either. It doesn't feel like, I've had to prep these 6 meals a day, boom, which brings me to the last point. So being Fit Mama's routine isn't about giving it all or nothing. It's consistently striving for progression, not perfection.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
What we were just talking about is that if we can prepare for one meal, create that meal week in, week out, doesn't have to be the same exact recipe, but if you're preparing for that same meal week in, week out, where it becomes that habit and it becomes your new normal, then once you've got that going, then you can improve, you can become aware, and then you can improve and make it 2 meals that you're prepared for, and so forth and so forth. And success is a journey, it's not a destination, so it's about enjoying that journey and enjoying that process.
100%.
Yeah.
I guess giving you a little bit of an insight into what the whole FitMum method process is the first thing that we need to do as coaches for you is to make fast, delicious nutrition readily available.
Yeah, and that you look forward to eating.
Yeah, because if you don't look forward to it, you're not going to eat it.
No, you're just going to sit in there and it's going to go rotten and you're going to go and eat something else.
So the first thing we do is we say, go home, take this cook Bible. There's 175 plus different options in there. Choose something that you and the family are going on.
Yep. What tickles?
Look forward to.
What tickles you fancy? Yep.
And just try them. And over time, what happens is you start to become more prepared for your main 3 meals. And that's where the communication has to be really high then, is talking to your coach, talking to the person who's taking care of you, and asking for their feedback on what you're actually doing.
Submitting what you're doing.
Rather than trying to be perfect, and I hope
implement everything that you're learning, and feeling the pressure that you have to learn everything that you're learning straight away, or implement everything that you're learning straight away.
So it really truly is a step-by-step process, and those steps can be broken down as small as possible. Yeah,
and as small as you need to. I mean, I work with mums that are pregnant, and then I work with mums that have newborns. So it really needs to be individualised. It really does need to be a communication back and forth, tailored program where I say, okay, if you can only do this. I work with pregnant women who are nauseous. And they need a step-by-step on how to handle that as well. So it isn't just
black and white.
No. Yeah.
It's there's a lot of grey areas, and being able to adapt something to you and have it fit you, rather than you try and bend over backwards to try
turn your world
upside down to fit it, is the key takeaway message from tonight's lesson, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's more likely to stick.
Yep, it's more likely to stick.
If you implement it that way,
and it's failure proof.
Take the pressure off yourself.
Yeah.
It is more likely to stick, and it's more likely something that is going to hang around for your life.
Exactly, and the only way you can fail then is if you quit.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was the last lesson. It is the last chance to get a starting point. And what I mean by that is classify your metabolism. So figure out exactly what's going on inside your body so you know what your next step is. You've had a really good overview over the last 5 lessons, and the majority of mums will from here sort of tend to consume the information, try and apply some of it, but not necessarily apply all of it and not take massive action. So don't be one of those mums. Take action. Figure out a starting point. That's the biggest action you can take right now. Figure out exactly where you are, because if you just start willy-nilly trying to pluck things from here and there and apply it, it's not going to push you forward. If you're going to finally free yourself from restrictive diets, finally free yourself from cardio challenges, the all or nothing approach, if you're finally going to get your family on board, and lead them.
Get your FitMum life sorted.
You need to get that starting point. So from there, you can then take forward action. So that's our little piece of advice to finish off.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed the e-course.
We have enjoyed going live for you, teaching you.
Yep.